Welcome to the Transform with Vance podcast, where transformations begin every day, and I am your host, Vance Hines. So let's get started. All right, this is Vance Hines, and I'm here with another DDPY success story. Matt Willner, Matthew Willner. Do you go by Matt or Matthew?
Matt's fine.
Matt's fine. Matt Willner. Matt, where do you live?
I live in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Oh, man. So do you got a gambling problem?
Oh, no. I stay away from there. I don't go near the strip.
Well, what I've done with everyone else is that, I would have a hard time with the sports betting. I would have a hard time not going to bet on football and soccer and that's where baseball. That's where I would. I'm glad I don't live in Las Vegas, because the sports betting would get me. But it's you got to have a lot of discipline to live out there and not bet all the time.
Well, there's the strip, and then there's where I live. Like I'm like a suburb, I guess. There's no suburb, but I'm not. Yeah, I don't go near the strip. When you live here, you don't go down there. You don't go near casinos. It's part of the rules, I guess.
Are there any casinos out there by you?
Oh yeah, they got casinos scattered all throughout Las Vegas. Yeah, like local casinos. But yeah, I stay out of those too. Only when I go see a movie or something, I got to walk through there.
Well, hell, they got slot machines and stuff everywhere, don't they?
Oh yeah, they're in gas stations. They're everywhere. Grocery stores. Oh yeah.
You can't get away from them things.
Oh no, they're in your face, man. And the gas stations, I've heard, pay out pretty good. So I've known a few people I work with that they hit pretty good at the gas station. They go pump gas in the morning. They threw a couple 20s in there, and then they would hit a Royal on there. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's called that's in the drug trade. That's called baiting them in. Giving them give them the crack, and then so for the rest of their lives they'll be playing slot machines and gas stations and losing. So
yeah. Well, they win. You hear about when they win. You never hear about when they lose.
No.
Just that once. Yeah.
All right, man. What I do with the other people is I gave them a softball question up front. I just asked them, tell why you are considered a DDPY success story, to get the listeners or viewers' attention up front and why they should sit here and listen to your story.
All right.
Well, go ahead. Why are you considered a DDPY success story?
Why am I considered a DDPY success story? Well, really, DDPY helped me change my life. This workout was one of the main tools I used to lose my weight. I struggled with exercise because I had major foot surgery back in 2013. My right foot is fused together with 3 screws. To backtrack on that was because I was born pigeon-toed, so I didn't develop enough cartilage in my right foot. So later on in life, I had to have major foot surgery. I was heavy as a teenager, heavy in my 20s, and then after that foot surgery, I pretty much gave up all hope on exercise because I can't physically walk long distance or run. So how can I possibly lose weight? So after my foot surgery, I saw Arthur's video on YouTube. It was around 2013. That's when it really hit. And I basically... The first time I saw it, I was torn up pretty bad. I broke down and started crying, just because I saw where he was, and I was pretty much at the same point. I was basically 6 months after my foot surgery, still not walking, and I saw this man do this with DDPY. But it never really clicked, and I kept putting it off to the side. He did it, but there's no way I could do it. And then basically until my moment in 2019, July 2019, on a family vacation, I was in Chicago visiting some family. We went to the Brookfield Zoo, and it was me, my wife, and my 2 daughters. it was like the first family vacation we had in a long time. So we went to the zoo around 9 o'clock. 11 o'clock, I was done. I couldn't walk any longer. I was just done. I told my wife and kids, we got to go home. Go to the gift shop. I need to get the hell out of here. I was winded, out of breath. Sent them to the gift shop. I went to go sit underneath a tree, and a man in a power chair rolled up next to me. Probably a little bit older than I was. Overweight, similar to me. And I saw him, and I looked at myself, and that was going to be my future. That was going to be me if I didn't get off my ass and do something about it. I became very upset in myself, and I basically said out loud, F that. I said it out loud. And I said, I have DDPY. That's my way. That's what I'm going to do. I got back from Chicago, and then I downloaded the app July 14th, 2019. Haven't looked back. I started doing chair force because of my foot, and I still modify because of my foot, but having a workout to do helped me work on my nutrition, because I knew I needed both. I needed a workout program and nutrition. I didn't see the need to eat right if I didn't have a workout program, but it's where I found DDPY. So I've lost 150 pounds in 2 years. So basically it took me 2 years to get to my goal weight. I met my goal weight in July of 2021, and I've been maintaining since that day, because from day one I made this a lifestyle. I never deprived myself of food. I just started eating the right food and started substituting the bad food for the good. And that pretty much got me to where I am, and I'm confident I can continue to live this way forever. So that's pretty much, I ramble on, but that's the premise. That's why I am a success story, because DDPY worked for me, and I'm just pretty much, I feel I'm living proof of that. Standing on a yoga mat 3 to 4 days a week, I lost 150 pounds doing that. So
all right, man, that's exactly what I wanted you to say. And you said, F that. I want you to know that there are no rules here, so you're going to hear me cussing. Sometimes
okay.
I don't even know when I'm cussing, so I'll apologize now if that offends you. But
oh, it doesn't offend me. I don't offend anyone else.
I've been called a walking hostile work environment. So I gotta, I gotta be careful when I cuss. So I don't even recognize it most of the times. I just can appreciate someone that can use fuck in a sentence as a verb or noun, an adjective, and an adverb all in one sentence.
It's so funny because I never thought you swore, just the way you are on Facebook. I never thought you swore. I mean, I work construction, I work in automotive, so that's one of my verbs or adverbs. The F word. So yeah, I swear.
Yeah, all right, man.
I'm seeing a new side of Vance today that I never knew.
That's right.
That's good.
I get to see the real me,
Yeah, that's funny.
So let's back up. You said you were born pigeon-toed.
Yes.
And didn't have enough cartilage in your foot, and then in 2013 you had surgery. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, I'm a twin, so while we're in the womb, we were just smashed.
Yeah.
And back to that story, my parents.
Are you an identical twin?
Fraternal. But there's not another one looked like me. Don't worry, you're good. But my parents didn't know they were having twins. So they're in the room. I come out, and the doctors tell my dad, there's another baby in there. You need to leave the room. And he's like, I'm not going anywhere. He's like, well, we don't know if it's stillborn or whatever. He was okay, but yeah, I was born first, so he's technically the youngest. But back to that, like, so I was pigeon-toed. So I was born in 1980. So around that time, my parent, right when after I was born, my parents wanted me to have surgery to straighten my legs. So pretty much a few weeks after I was born, I had foot surgery or leg surgery. I have pictures of myself in full leg casts.
Dang.
So they basically did the surgery and then they straightened out my legs. My feet are straight as an arrow. But then my mother and father I was miserable. They hated seeing me with these casts. And you know what I'm saying? A newborn baby. There's another one of me cry. You know, it was just a hectic situation. So my dad, well, here's a funny story. So they had to cut off the cast after a few weeks and then put new casts on. So I went to get the cast cut off, and they brought out a big drill, and they're trying to cut the cast off. I'm screaming bloody murder, and my parents are like, "What the hell are you guys doing to my kid?" You know, I'm sitting there with, I didn't know what the hell was going on. So they cut him off with that. So they then added new casts, and then after those had to get cut off, my dad's like, "No, I'm not taking him back there." So my dad took me out in the garage and used the hacksaw and cut the casts off my legs, so I wouldn't be scared. Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. Well, I can relate to the dad because my oldest girl Chesley, she had a lot of ear issues, and yet they had.
I did too. I had that too. Yeah.
They had to put tubes in her, and.
Yep, I got tubes. Back to that. I wasn't talking at a young age, and so my twin's talking everyone's ear off, and I'm just sitting there like looking off in a daze. So when I was around 3 years old, I had the tubes. Then I had to go to speech therapy because I was so behind. I had to go to speech therapy till I was 10 years old because I was so behind in my speech. But yeah, you can continue.
Well, you're talking fine now. But I did speech therapy too. We got a lot in common. But I can tell you when I took Chesley in, that's my oldest girl. They put her in a papoose, and so you got to put your little girl down and hold her down while they strap her in this papoose device where it just holds her head still and everything else, locked down. And I had to hold her with her just screaming bloody murder. And I said, I am never doing this again. So every one of my other kids are damn near deaf because I never would get them tubes or anything. So.
Well, yeah, but it's hard being a dad seeing your kid go through that, and you can't do nothing about it.
Well, hell, I was one holding him on that deal. I said, I ain't doing that shit again. So,
yeah, it's like you're torturing them.
Mm-hmm. Well, anyway, where'd you grow up at?
Well, I grew up in a suburb of Chicago, Tinley Park, Illinois. So
how'd you get to Vegas?
Well, my parents moved out here when I was 11. So in 6th grade, I moved out here to Vegas.
Does your twin have weight issues?
No, he does now. I'm the skinny twin now, but no, he doesn't. Not like me. So nothing like what I had.
Where does he live?
He lives here in Vegas.
So both of y'all stayed there in Vegas. Y'all went through your teen years in Vegas, huh?
Oh yeah.
And you're not in the mob or not in in the drugs in jail or anything.
No, we're good. He's actually a cop. He's in Nevada Highway Patrol. So.
Oh man, and you said you're in construction.
Well, I was in construction before my foot surgery. I actually work at a local college here in automotive department, the College of Southern Nevada. Basically, work in the tool room there and just basically order parts for the cars and hand out tools to our youth. Our fabulous youth we have.
So you're
pretty rewarding job.
Teaching the youth how to a trade, how to fix vehicles.
Well, when they come up to the counter and say, I need one of those doohickey things or I need one of those things, I kind of got to put them in check. Like, what do you need? Yeah. You need to know what to ask for. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I had those teaching moments, yeah.
Well, I wondered what you did. I had you pictured like at an appliance store because I always see you in those blue shirts.
My uniform?
Yeah, I had you pictured like a Circuit City. I don't even think they're around Best Buy.
Like the Maytag man.
Yeah. So I didn't know what you did because you always. I mean, you did. I'm impressed that you keep doing the same pictures over and over.
Well, back to that, I made that video. So a month after I started DDPY, August 2019, I made a diamond cutter video in the shop. One morning, I wasn't busy. I made that diamond cutter video. And then I went down a uniform size, and I'm like, I'll make another video. And then it turned into me just making the videos whenever I went down a uniform size or had a non-scale victory. Well, that video actually went viral on TikTok last February.
Oh, man.
That one video, yeah. It got like 250,000 views.
That's awesome, man. How many followers?
Total fluke thing, too.
But it's impressive because it's the same. You're in the same spot. You're wearing the same uniform, and doing the same exact maneuver, and you can see the progression as you go through your transformation. I haven't seen anybody that recorded it as well as you did.
It was just a fluke thing, though. I just wanted to do it. I never really thought, when I made that first video, I never thought I'd actually keep doing. I don't know. It just turned into something cool. I still got the videos on my phone. I got to make sure when I run low on storage, I got to make sure I don't delete those videos. I got to be careful.
You better back it. Well, hell, hey, what you do? Do you have a YouTube channel? Do you have a YouTube channel?
I got a YouTube channel, yeah. I think it's on there, but I could just download them to that, or
yeah. I mean, I was talking to some of the other winners and stuff, and I can't remember who it is. I think maybe a couple of them told me they put everything on YouTube, but they don't make it public. They make it. I mean, they use YouTube like a damn free Dropbox. And so they put everything on YouTube, and then when the contest needed their stuff, they just shared them with each video with Steve and Dallas.
I did the same thing when I was part of the challenge too. They're on my phone. It's like I don't want to lose them. I feel, I don't know, it's weird. I don't know how to describe it. I just want to, because every once in a while I'll watch the video on my phone. Let's watch it and watch my transformation. I don't know. It's just one thing that keeps me going. Back to that video, I want to talk about, I was wearing a 3X shirt and a 46-inch waist pant. And I went down, now I'm in a large shirt and a 34-inch pant.
You went from 46 to a 34.
I want to show you something. I want to show you something right here. You see this?
Yeah.
This is my championship belt. I wore this belt until March of last year. I started off right here. I drilled 13 holes in this belt.
13 inches. You can see it. Yeah. Hold it up where the light's in it. Yeah, and then kind of move it down again. Yeah, like that. Move it across.
One thing I can tell you, Vance, I get up to go to work, I put on the belt. This kept me going. Fuck the scale. This is what kept me going, this piece of leather. Yeah. It's because I put it on and every once in a while time to drill a new hole, and you just keep going and keep staying on track. I mean, this thing wraps around to the middle of my back. That's all free. I haven't checked it since, though. That's been a year since I got a new belt. I might have to drill 2 more holes in this thing.
Yeah. Have anybody ever asked you as you were wearing that belt why you were wearing such a long belt?
Yeah, I would show them. At work, I'd be like, they're like, "What the hell's wrong with your belt?" And I'd be like, "This is where I started." They're like, "Damn," I couldn't believe it. But it's so funny to me that this is what helped keep me going. Yeah. And that's one thing I want to emphasize on with people is I see constantly people posting about the weight, the scale. The scale didn't move. I did all this and that, and the scale didn't move. Fuck scale. Go in your closet and grab that old shirt that you wore 10 years ago. I know people do that. I know I do it. Put it on. If it fits a little bit looser, keep going. Keep doing what you're doing. Just keep those little non-scale victories going along, because they're going to be more prevalent than any scale. If I showed you my scale if I held up my scale and showed it to you, what the hell would you see on it? You're like, what's the purpose? But if I showed you my belt, this has more of an impact. You get what I'm saying? This means more than a number on a scale. But that's one thing that really, this helped keep me going. I felt, well, it's hanging on the back of my door now, so I don't ever want to get rid of this thing.
That was my next question. What are you going to do with it? You need to make it, give it like a trophy. You know, you need to put it like a trophy somewhere or something.
Yeah, it's never, I got to figure out something soon, but but every day I go to work, I open the door and it's hanging on the back of my door, my bedroom door. I'm like, just that subconsciously I see that and I'm like, yep. I mean, it's crazy to me.
Very cool.
But I never thought that would mean I never thought that. Starting
I got one thing I got in here that's kind of similar is that seatbelt extender I had for the car.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
It's hanging on the wall.
Yeah.
That's your trophy right there.
Yeah,
but those little things.
Yeah.
Those little things, though, that it might seem weird to people, but it's not weird. It means something to you. People got to find the meaning, you know?
Mm-hmm. It's a reminder.
Keep them, that reminder just to keep going. Because that scale ain't always going to fucking move for you.
No.
And you can't let that tear you down. It'll fuck you up. It'll stop your progress.
Absolutely. You know? What about those kids? What are those kids that you at the school? What did they say about it?
Well, I got a good one. So during COVID, COVID, I had to take a few months off, whatever. So didn't have any classes during COVID. We had to shut the campus down. So then, like I think it was like about 18 months later, a student finally came back on campus that I haven't seen in a long time. So I'm wearing my mask at work, and I'm out cleaning an area, and he's walking up, getting ready to walk to his class, and he flat out stops and goes, "Matt, is that you?" And I'm looking around like, what the hell? And I take my mask off, and he's like, yeah. He's like, what the hell happened to you? I'm like, nothing happened to me. What are you talking about? He said, you look fantastic. You know, he's like telling me because he hasn't seen me in a long time. And I was like, thank you. I really appreciate that. And he's like, so what are you doing? And whenever someone asks me what I'm doing, I got to fucking lay it out. I ramble on for 20 minutes telling what I'm doing. DDPY this, DDPY that, told him. But those reactions, and that's another thing, like, people just get blown away by that. They can't believe that. He's like, I've never seen anyone transform like you transformed. I'm like, well, wow, that's cool. Like, but I actually made a video about that and talked about that on my YouTube channel. Just because it was special to me. So
yeah, we'll get into what your channels are. So you grew up in Vegas. You stayed out of trouble. Did you go to college?
Yeah. No college. High school graduate.
High school graduate.
Again, back to my. So I joined the painters union when I was 24 years old. My dad's a union painter. My twin brother was a union painter at the time. My other brother was a union painter. I got a brother who still lives in Chicago. He's a union carpenter. I had two uncles that were union carpenters, two uncles that were union painters.
Now, wait a minute. How many Willner boys were in the family?
There's three more. I'm the youngest. There's three more boys and a girl in my family.
Three more boys and a girl. All grew up in Vegas. And none of them got in trouble? That's a lot of temptation out there.
I can't say anything about the middle brother. But he taught me he taught me what not to do. But
okay.
I'm gonna say right
that
now,
that restores my faith in humanity that at least one of the Willner boys got in some trouble out there.
Yeah, that's right. Well, he's doing good. He's doing great now, and I'm happy. He's been through a lot of stuff, but as a teenager, I saw him, and I saw him getting in trouble, and I'm like, no, I ain't doing that. Forget that. I got a funny story, Vance. So I was around 15 years old. My brother's 3 years older than me, the one I'm talking about. So it was the middle of the night. So my dad wakes me up at like 3 in the morning. I'm like, what the hell? He's like, get up, your brother's home. I'm like, okay, what the hell's going on? I walk downstairs. Me and my dad are standing there in the dark. My brother comes walking in the house through the garage door. My dad turns the light on and just starts getting crazy with my brother. He swung on him once, and just one hit, my brother hit the door and slid to the ground. So I grabbed my dad. He's like, "You want a piece of me too?" And I'm like, "Nope." And I freaking went like that. And I went upstairs and went back to bed. My brother was laying there. I don't even know. I don't even care. Yeah, my dad doesn't mess around. And he's right-handed. He threw a left and just knocked him out.
Man. He's lucky he didn't hit him with his good hand.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, I seen shit like that. And I'm like, no, I don't think so. I don't want to be getting in fights with my dad in the middle of the night. I'm done. He led me on the right track, seeing what he did. I did the opposite of what he did.
So what did your dad do for a living? Your mom and your dad. I'm just curious. Living out there.
Well, my dad's was a union painter, so he's a union painter in Chicago. I think he got he got 22 years in there, and he got 20 years as a union painter out in Vegas. So yeah, my mom.
He's got good retirement then.
Oh, he's got a great retirement. Yeah, he's pretty much set. He retired on his 62nd birthday, and he just turned 72. So, which is great because a union painter, because of all the fumes they breathe in and stuff, the average pension checks are around 6 pension checks, so 6 months. He's working on 10 years, so he's in pretty good health. But he always wore a respirator. Always wore a respirator.
Yeah.
Even in the 70s and the 80s, he always made sure he wore a respirator. Guys back then, they would poke a hole in that respirator and put a cigarette in there and be smoking a cigarette through the respirator. That's how concerned they were about safety. But he never messed around. He always wore that.
There was I was a Teamster for 2 years.
Right on.
And I had flunked out of college, and my dad had a friend that worked at Sullivan Transfer Company, and what they did was they moved the freight from the dock to the whatever booths for trade shows and any kind of show there is. We would get the freight from the truck to the booth. Freeman Decorators, that union, those guys would decorate the booths. And then they would break it down, and then we would load the trucks back up. And so we worked, whenever a show was coming in, we'd work before the show and work after. But, the Teamsters, there were some old Teamsters there, and all they would say, "Boy, you don't belong here. Get back in school." And they were.
Yeah, I heard that before.
Yeah, and they. But anyway, there was a few of them, man, that'd been there for a long time. But there was, some. They would. We only had a 30-minute lunch, and they would run out to their truck, slam 3 beers, and then never eat anything. Come back in and go to work, and it was a different life. That 2 years with the Teamsters, and the Teamsters are always scared that the way that it worked with them back then. I mean, it was good money for a kid, but the Sullivan Transfer got to bring some people. And then the Teamsters brought so many people. Each side gets to pick the people for the show. And so I was always because Pop knew somebody high up in Sullivan, so I was always came from the Sullivan side. And so those guys were not, everybody always thought you were kind of a rat or something, coming from the employer side.
Well, they thought you were a non-union. Right?
Yes. Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, I had to pay my card to get the job, but you're not getting the job through the union. You're basically, they think you're non-union.
Well, like back in Chicago, everything is union there. If they do construction at a Walmart, they're union. There's union carpenters there. But here in Vegas, we lost everything in the housing tracts and everything else except for the Strip. So there's it's mixed, union, non-union, but everything on the Las Vegas Strip was union, and that's where I worked most of my painting career. But back to my foot issues, that's what really did a number on my foot. It was bad. climbing up and down ladders, climbing up and down scaffolding. That's what really wore out what cartilage I did have on my foot. And back to that, the last job I worked on where my wife finally had enough of me limping around the house, I actually had to, I'd get home from work and I'd have to use crutches to get in the house. That's how bad my right foot was. But thankfully, I was still union, and I was able to go on temporary disability. The union paid for the foot surgery. Everything was good, but the bad part is the foot doctor said I'd be painting again in 6 months, and I wasn't walking again. It took me 6 months to even start walking again. And the worst part about that is when I was in the office, the foot doctor's like, well, I don't think you're going to be able to paint again. It might be time to find a new occupation. And I'm sitting there with a high school degree. I can't. I was a journeyman painter. My wife was a stay-at-home mom. I can't throw this away. Yeah. That's what really. But it all worked out. I mean, I ended up getting a job at an auto parts store because that's where I worked at in my early 20s. I never mentioned that, but I ended up working at an auto parts store making $10 an hour. Within 10 months, I was the store manager of that parts store. So. And that basically led me to the career I have now, basically. Yeah, back to that. Yeah, that's basically rebuilt my life. I had to rebuild my career. And that's one thing, too, that I really hesitated on doing something about my weight. I had to make my career a priority and my family. But once I was able to get a stable career, then that was the time. That's when that moment at the zoo, that's when I knew, like, this is my time. I finally have a job where I actually have a desk job right now with a high school degree where I work. I'm working in a desk most of the day, and I'm on my feet most of the day. So it's the perfect career. That's when everything just fell into place, and that's when I needed to do that change.
So tell me the foot. Tell me what's fused on your foot, so I can get an idea of what.
I got a picture of the X-ray on my phone. I mean, basically, I have a screw going through the heel and two screws going through the top of my foot. There's 3 bones in your foot, and those 3 bones, I wore out the cartilage. So they cleaned all the cartilage, what was there, and they cleaned it out, and they fused all that together. So basically, my right foot, I can only do your
foot like that.
That's about all the movement I have. I don't have any round. I can't do circles with it. I can't do any of that with it. And they actually cut my Achilles tendon. They lengthened the tendon in the back of my ankle. They lengthened that tendon to help me get more movement. But that's why, again, my surgery was February 13th, 2013. I didn't start walking until the end of July of that year.
Yeah,
so
it was about 6 months before you started walking.
Yeah, and the thing is, the doctor.
Why did they say you couldn't go back to painting? Because you couldn't go up and down ladders?
It was about 3. Yeah, it was about 3 months into recovery. That's when because I go see my foot doctor, and he put on a new cast and do X-rays, and he finally said that he also said I need to lose weight.
How much did you weigh back then?
You might need to lose some weight. And Vance, I'm sitting in the office. How the fuck do you expect me to lose weight? I can't even fucking walk to the bathroom in the middle of the night. Like, are you fucking kidding me? I was, like, come on, man. Yeah. And the thing is, these doctors don't give you alternatives. They don't tell you about yoga. Oh, there's yoga. You should try doing yoga. They don't tell you any of that stuff.
No.
Here, take some pain medicine. Here, take this. This will help ease your pain. And that's why I was on pain medicine too. I quit pain medicine back in September of when was it? September of 2020 is when I quit my pain medicine. So after about a year and a half.
What pain medicine did they have you on?
I was taking Norco. I think it was 325/10s, and they gave me some muscle relaxers, tizanidine, and then ibuprofen. But with the food and the pain medicine, when I was a store manager at that parts store, I was working long hours, so I get off work, and have my wife get me a calzone from wherever, and then pop a pill, eat that calzone, drinking some Coke, and that was me sitting on the couch all night. And it was a real high stress job, so that was me. And I was just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and the stress is really having a real bad effect on me, on my health. I actually had times where I actually had to go home from work. I had like, I don't know how to like an anxiety attack, and I had to get driven home just so I can relax, because it was just my body, I was just abusing the shit out of my body with the pain medicine, the food, and not taking care of myself. But to go back to that, I'm like, what's the use? Why eat better? I can't exercise. I can't exercise because I don't have any time because of my busy job. But yeah, it was just some pretty bad shit. I had to go through those, probably about a 3 or 4 year span of that, until I got this job at the college. And the job at the college was a blessing, true blessing. I took a pay cut, but it was a blessing because my hours were set 7 a.m. to 3:30, Monday through Friday. But I started working there, and I started getting bigger, gaining the weight again. And the guys there were telling me, you're going to go up a uniform size within a year. That happens to everybody who works here. And I'm sitting there like, I can't do that. Yeah. What the hell? But now I'm the guy that went down. I never went up a uniform size. I did the opposite.
Proved them wrong.
One of those little things that I proved wrong. Looking back, that's one thing that, that I won that battle. I didn't go down. I went down uniform sizes. I didn't go up uniform sizes. So I proved them wrong.
What was your heaviest weight?
I was probably close to 350 at one time. And I remember that because I'd go to the doctor and get weighed, because I never weighed myself. I didn't want to I didn't want to see what the number was. I didn't give a shit. When you're that, I don't know. I was not interested in that. I don't know. I knew I wasn't doing the right things, and I didn't want that to be thrown in my face. Because I knew. And that's
how old are you?
I'm 41 years young.
41 years young.
Yes, sir.
And you're married? How long you been married?
Been married since I was 22 years old. So
you're 19 years.
19 years, November 1st.
Congratulations. And how many kids? You got kids?
2 kids, 2 daughters, 14 and 17.
2 daughters. So it's kind of funny that I don't know. It just seems like to me that generationally, those people, the families that have boys, the next generation has girls. It seems like a lot of times they swap. Because I don't know. It's weird. But what about your brother? What about your brothers and your sister? Do they have more girls than boys?
No, there's more boys. Actually, I'm the only one that has 2 girls. But we were 2 and done.
You're the only one.
My twin brother has twins, but then they're identical twins.
Identical twins, male or female? Male, I used to guess.
Yeah.
Identical twins. They're going to have a lot of fun with that.
Oh yeah, they're 7. They're going to be 8. How old are they? They're going to be 18 in June. So yeah, they had some fun. But they were done after that. So I wonder why.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. All right. So how old are your kids? Your girls?
14 and 17.
14. Oh shit! You're in the teenage years.
Oh yeah. I taught my older daughter how to drive. So she's driving now.
They hate you right now, don't they?
What's that?
They hate you right now.
Oh, they
don't
love me. No. And that's another thing. My relationship with my kids is so much better now. I'm no longer that lump.
Well, you can do things.
Right. I'm no longer that lump on the couch. And we sit and have good conversations now. I'm much more present in their life. And that's what this is about.
Well, I can tell you, I had one of those electric cart, and I don't know what you call them, that like you had at the gas powered cart or whatever. It was one of the lowest moments of my life, but I didn't make a change then. But it was my kids were, I don't know. Don was probably, my son who's 22 now. He was probably 7 or 8, 6 or 7 or 8, somewhere around in there. So it's been a long time, but I was in my mid to late 40s, and we went to California and went to Disneyland, and I was 450, and I had to rent one of those damn carts, and ride around on it all day. You know, mid-40s, man, and
Yeah, that
it was demoralizing. It was pretty much a big blow to the ego. I can tell you that, man.
oh yeah.
So,
And you can't really describe the feeling. I know how you felt, but some people don't. You can't really describe in the words how you really felt. I mean, you're trying to have a good time with your family, but in the back of your mind, you're like, shit, like, what the hell did I do to myself to get here? Why can't I be walking around like that guy over there? We look like we're the same age. Why the hell did this happen to me? And a lot of it is because of the decisions I made that got me to that. Yeah, to a point. I mean, my foot surgery, I didn't have a choice. I had to get it done, but I didn't have to lay down. I basically laid down after my foot surgery. I was done. I don't know. I just I just gave up. Gave up hope that I could even lose weight. So
you do that. I mean, you go through those points in your life. What was it that made you change and decide that you wanted to try again?
I didn't want.
I mean, I assume you're like me. You every day you're either quitting or starting a diet every day. You know, so
I don't do diets, man. Nutrition. I don't use that word, man. I've never used that word. I hate it. I mean, for me, I didn't want my kid. I wanted my kids to have their father. I wanted my wife to have her husband back. I didn't want to go on another family vacation and have me in a power chair that next year, or have me worse off than I was. I didn't want that. And the thing is, like, demoralizing as it was, or hit to the ego, seeing that guy in that power chair, I became very upset with myself, very disappointed in myself, flat out fucking pissed off at myself that I got to that point. So I guess that was my rock bottom. And my approach this time, though, is I didn't come out swinging. You know, I didn't come out of my corner swinging like it was let's say it was a Saturday. Okay, Sunday I'm going to start eating better. You know, I'm going to totally change my nutrition. I'm not eating McDonald's for breakfast. I'm not drinking a Coke for lunch. I didn't do that. I tracked my food for the first month. Then I looked at my food journal on MyFitnessPal and looked at my breakfasts. I was eating 2 Nutrigrain bars, drinking a Starbucks Frap coffee, one of those cold coffees. And I looked at that, my breakfast first. I'm like, you know something? I'm going to drink a water and get a protein bar that I like. And that's my breakfast. I'm going to do that for a month. So I did that for a month. Then I looked at my lunches. I'm like, you know, I'm having a sandwich, a bag of Doritos, a Coke. You know, I love Gatorade, so I have a Gatorade. So then I just substituted one thing out of my lunch. I did that for a month. I slowly just started to change things. Looking at the nutritional phases, the food combining, my dinners were a protein and vegetable. So I found proteins and vegetables I liked. Things that were in the freezer, though, stuff I didn't have to get home from work and prepare for an hour. I could throw it in my air fryer, throw it in a pan. But again, I slowly made the changes this time. And little jabs, a little jab, little things got me to where I was. I mean, I'm not a 6-month success story. I didn't lose 150 pounds in 6 months. It only took me 2 years. I say only because it only took 2 years to reverse 20 years of eating like shit and not taking care of myself. And that really isn't that long. And that's one thing people need to understand too, is don't put a time limit or time on your journey or time on your transformation. You know, just keep making those subtle changes and make it a lifestyle. I mean, that's what this is about. Don't lose 50 pounds and then go back to eating like shit again because you met your goal. That's not your goal. Your goal is to become healthier. You know, that number's good, but your goal is to become healthier. And one thing I tell you right now, Vance, when I got to my healthy BMI, I eat more now. I started adding potatoes into my dinner and eating a little bit more carbs. And my body's like super efficient. It's like a machine now, you know? And I've been maintaining for nine months. And I still eat Chick-fil-A on Fridays. I still eat In-N-Out on Fridays. I like hamburgers. I still have pizza on Saturday, but in moderation. You know, that's what worked for me, and I think that's what will work for a lot of people. If they take that approach in the tracking, find out what you're eating wrong, find out what got you to where you are, and find those better alternatives. I ate TV dinners for a few months. A Smart One TV dinner. They're loaded with sodium. They were people telling me, well, it's better than me eating a calzone that was 1,200 calories. I ate that. I found a substitute I could live with, because I don't want to be sitting there chewing on a carrot for eating that for dinner. You know what I'm saying? Or eating celery sticks. That's not it. And I'm not going to eat a salad every meal of the day to try to lose weight. I just found what worked for me. Again, I ramble on, but that's what I feel people focus too much on. I mean, I'm not against keto. I'm not against different nutrition plans, but once you're off that nutrition plan, you need to find a way to still implement that in some way. Tweak it, make it your own, like DDPY says. And that's kind of what I did. But
you know what you're saying. I've been going to this nutritionist that works for the county. It's free for me, so I use the shit out of her.
Right.
But that. I mean, you could be a disciple of her preaching, you know, because it's all about moderation. It's all about don't starve yourself.
Right.
Don't do any fad diets. Just do. Just learn to substitute healthy choices.
Yeah.
And do it over time for a healthier life. Because, I think I've read some studies that people that do it that way have a better chance of maintaining it and maintaining the weight loss. And I think, I think you're walking proof of that. I'm going to get to it, but honestly, I think you've done something I can't do, and that's maintain a healthy weight.
You can do it. You can do it. Yeah. I know you can.
I hadn't done it yet. I haven't done it
but
yet.
You haven't given up yet either, and I don't think you are. I don't think you're planning to either. So you'll figure it out. No, keep fighting. You'll figure it out.
I treat it like a problem, like a math problem. I really. There's an answer here somewhere, and I'm going to find it sooner or later.
It's Vance's. It's not my answer. It's yours to figure out. It's yours taking little pieces of advice or pieces of information and figuring out what's going to work for you. I'll go back to. Ever heard of Joel Fuhrman? I think that's his name. He talks about the nutritional nutritarian diet. He has a special on PBS. Check on YouTube.
Fuhrman?
I'll message you. He talks about the nutritarian diet, eating nuts, eating different things. He talks about fruit. He has a lot of useful information that I didn't agree with everything he said, but I took bits and pieces of information from him and implemented that. And that really helped me. I'm into Joe Rogan a lot. I love watching his podcast. I would look up nutritional Joe Rogan podcasts and hear him ask. He asked questions that I would ask a nutritionist. And that's and I got pieces of information. One thing I watched on Rogan was a training one where I've never done consecutive workouts. I've never done 100-day challenge. I've never been able to physically do that. He brought a guest on his show talking about training, like MMA training. He said, those guys, you cannot go all in every day. You can't go do an hour workout every day. You're going to be tired. You're going to wear yourself out. But if you go in for an hour and you do a light workout, you get more out of that light workout than you are an intense workout. And I compared that to DDPY workouts because I do workouts 3 to 4 days a week. If I'm sore, I skip my workout and I don't beat myself up about it. If I have 20 minutes, I do Energy 2.0. I still do Energy 2.0. It still gets me going. I do Fat Burner. I do those basic workouts. When I'm sore, I know what muscles, but I'm not. Some days I'm not killing myself. Some days my heart rate isn't all the way up to where it should be. But I'm just staying active. I'm going through the motions. And that's what You don't need to push every day your hardest. You need to find, that's one thing you need to emphasize on. Because you're not in a sprint. You're in a slow jog, a slow pace. And you're going to feel less stress you're putting less stress on yourself when you take those small steps. And you're not being so hard on yourself or beating yourself up. Oh, I couldn't get my heart rate up to 120 today. What the hell is wrong with me? And what's wrong with my heart rate monitor? It's not working right. No, just breathe, inhale, do all the stuff. You're fine. You did a fucking workout. I think about me 3 years ago. I never did anything. Before I started, I'd ride the couch all night. I did 20-minute workout. That's good, And that's back to to segue into this. That's why I want to become a DDPY level 1 instructor. That's why I'm working on that certification. I want to be one of the guys that has 3 screws in his foot teaching class to people like, what's your excuse? This is my excuse. And that was me, and this is me now. And I think that I'll have a positive impact on people if they see that. And I'll go through modifications. I still need to modify. I can't do one-legged moves too well on my right foot. Why? Because of my right foot. I'm not beating myself up about it, though. I grabbed that metal chair. I still got the metal chair I just started out in. It's still next to me. And that's okay. That's what people need to understand. It's okay to modify and to find your way of doing it. And one thing I struggled with is comparing myself to other people. And I've really had a hard time with that the last 6 months. And I'm coming out of that funk. And I feel better about myself now when I stop comparing myself to other people and other journeys, because I'm not like them. I'm my own person. But I can still stand with them. I still earned my right to stand next to him or her. We're still the same.
Shit, you've earned you're a huge success story. The it's that consistency over time, like compound interest.
Yes.
It's that consistency over time. That is what works. And you're gonna have ups and downs. You're gonna have waves where you're riding the crest, and you're going to have waves where you're down into the belly of the wave, and you got to get through those lows to get back up on the high. And
sometimes that high isn't real high. Sometimes you can't set that expectation unrealistically of that. When I get there, that's gonna be it. No, there's no it. Just stay in between. You got the high and you got the low. It's okay to ride right in between. And that's where I am now. I'm cool. I'm fine with this. You know what I'm saying? Like losing 150 pounds in 2 years. It's like, I scored the touchdown. I reached the top of the mountain. Now what? No, now I'm going to live. I'm going to live a healthier life. I'm going to continue to do this. There is no touchdown. There is no winning or losing in this. I mean, there's winning because you have your life back. You're a better version of yourself. For me, it's for my wife and my 2 daughters. I'm a better version of myself for them. And to backtrack, I don't care what I look like necessarily. I don't need a 6-pack. I don't need big muscles. I'm married with 2 kids. I don't give a shit what I look like, but I feel better. Me looking this way, I feel physically, mentally better. And that's why I did this. Not to have a 6-pack and not to flex my muscles,
Well, it's definitely a quality of life. I mean, it changes. It gives you a whole new life, really.
A new perspective, yeah.
Me at 475, unbelievable. It just completely changes your life. Tell me. I don't want to get too far. One thing I wanted to say. You talk about comparing yourself to others, and that you're coming out of that fog. There's a 12-step slogan or motto or whatever you call it, one of their mantras that says compare and despair.
Okay.
And so, it's never compare your journey to someone else's. Your journey is your journey, wherever you're at. And if having those once you start having expectations, then at some point you're not going to meet those expectations, and it's going to have a detrimental effect on your journey.
Oh yeah,
and that's where I'm at right now.
Well, like going back, like the Positively Unstoppable Challenge in 2020 and 2021, I wasn't picked those years, and this last year hit me hardest because I felt like I set unrealistic expectations on that, and I tortured myself. I was unfair to myself, and I've struggled with that the last few months, and I'm coming out of that. I still struggle sometimes, but I just feel like, again, you look at their story and like, why couldn't that be me, or what makes me different? I lost the weight, I did that. You shouldn't ask yourself those questions, and I don't know why I did that to myself, but I learned. It's a learning experience. You need to learn from that shit. You got to face it and own up to your thoughts, own up to what you're doing, and try to fix it. And talking about it, I talk to my wife about it. I get it out in the open, and we discuss it, and we just work through the issue. But it's something you should never do. And people that are going through this, just try to just work through it. You'll get through it, and I'm not trying to say don't do that, but you got to find a way to come out of that, because you should never do that. You're just torturing. It's like torturing yourself, and there's no reason for it. You deserve more than that, right? I realized I deserve more than that. And but it took time to come out of that. So,
well, shit, you're a superstar. You've done what statistically most people can never do. If you talk to a doctor, they're going to tell you that you're a unicorn.
Yeah.
So, because I think statistically, no one loses that kind of weight without surgery, and no one keeps it off, maintains it, and keeps it off over an extended period of time. And what you've done both is phenomenal. So it's awesome.
And that's why I'm to the point where if I can give anyone advice or lead them in the right direction, I will. And if I give someone advice, it's real advice. It's no bullshit. This is what you should do, and you take it or leave it, in a sense, not to be rude, but that's what worked for me, and it might work for you, it might not. Don't put all your chips in the middle of the table. Like, use pieces of what I did to try to help, and that's what I want to do. I want to try to help other people. And the thing is, all my coworkers have seen me transform, family members, and no one's followed me there. I haven't been able to take someone's hand and have them do workouts with me all the time, and no one's started out heavy and lost the weight. I haven't been able to do that. I felt like I haven't been able to help somebody, like, in my circle, and like I want to do it so badly. I want to give a helping hand, and that's why I like talking to you. Maybe someone will watch this, and maybe this is the helping hand they need. And that's why I want to help. That's why I say before we went on, like, this is not about me. It's about other people, to show what's possible. That's how I feel right now, and I want to pass that on to other people.
Well, as well as I do, it ain't gonna happen unless you decide.
Yes.
It's time for you to do it.
And
unless you make that decision.
Yes. I wish there was a pill. I wish I could give someone a pill that made them snap out of it. I wish, but they need that moment, like the moment I had at that zoo. They need the moment. And the thing is, there was other moments that happened to me, but I wrote them off. I ignored it. I blocked it out. But that one time, I let it in. I opened up my mind, and it came in, and I didn't like it. But guess what? It was that kick in the ass I needed. I needed to face myself. I need to look myself in the mirror and say, what the fuck are you doing? Face it. Face yourself, and people, they're scared to do that, and that's okay. But once you do that, and you're honest with yourself, and you face your weaknesses, you're your biggest weakness. Once you face yourself, you'll find a way to lose the weight. I found a way. I didn't follow someone's plan. I fucking made my own. And through trial and error and ups and downs, I found my way to lose the weight. I fought every step of the way. With the workouts back again, I started out in the chair. I remember I chose beginner when I first started, and I was like, I can't do beginner. And I looked at the app, and I'm like, they got Chair Force. What's Chair Force? So the night I downloaded the app, I took my 6 pictures. Take your pictures, I want to say that. And then I did the Chair Force. And I'm sitting there lifting up I'm doing the workout. So in Vance, I got done doing the workout. I went in my bathroom. I looked myself in the mirror. I said, Matt, you could fucking do this. This is a workout you can do. And just me talking to myself, saying it out loud, resonated. And then the next day, or actually on Tuesday, I did another Chair Force workout. And the thing is, I get off work at 3:30. Vance, I'd get home. I'd walk in the house, set my lunch box down on the counter, change into my workout clothes. My daughters would come up to me and want to talk. My wife, I'd be like, no, leave me alone. Leave me alone. They're like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, leave me alone. I got to do this. They're like, you got to do what? I'm like, I got to do my workout. When I'm done doing my workout, you guys got me all night. But I need to do this. I can't. And that's what I did. And so every day after work, I get off work, change into my workout clothes, do a workout. That's the discipline I created. That's what I did. And back to the discipline, I thought about this the last few months. A lot of us have jobs we go to every day. We have a 9 to 5, right? And our discipline is we go to work, we get paid. What makes us go to work every day? The money, right? Support our family. Have a house, have a car, or whatever. So a lot of us have discipline in our life. Take that discipline from over there and put it into your health. When a certain time of the day, it's time to go to work. Well, it's time to do your workout. It's time to eat better. It's time to look at your nutrition. And your payoff is a lot more substantial than a paycheck. Your payoff is your health. And again, a lot of us have that discipline. You know what I'm talking about, right? Does that make sense to you, Vance? Or what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. It is discipline. And it's, and it's weird. Yeah, there's a book out there by Jocko Willner.
Oh, I like him too. He's good.
A guy sent that book to. Yeah, a guy sent me that book when I was first starting my journey. Some random guy from Twitter sent a Kindle version of that book to me. And discipline equals freedom, and it had a big effect on me. That it doesn't. It sounds like an oxymoron, but it's true that once you set yourself that you're going to do that discipline every day, that's no longer a choice, and then you're free to do other things, but that's going to happen, and then you don't use up your mental faculties thinking about, do I work out, do I not? You got that thing set as it's like brush your teeth.
That's what I say too. It's like brushing your teeth. That's what's doing a workout, like brushing your teeth. You're not going to skip brushing your teeth one day. You're going to do your, it's the same thing, same discipline. And again, everyone has that discipline, and it's just implementing that in your life, fitting it in there. Like you said, that's not a choice. Like when I'm at work, when I'm driving home from work, it's like, should I do a workout or should I do a work? Or like, should I or shouldn't I? There's no question. I get off work, I do a workout. Yeah. That's what I do, unless I'm sore, unless whatever, but it's not a choice. It doesn't become a choice. It just becomes your thing. Like when you get up to go to work every day, there's days where you don't want to go to fucking work, but you do it anyway. Well, it's the same thing doing a workout. Yeah. You got to and the thing is, after you go to work and you're like, this isn't that bad. Same thing with a workout. This isn't that bad. I'm glad, and you're always glad you did. You're always glad you pushed through that moment, and then it's like that's another victory we all need to celebrate. Those little, you were discouraged and you fought through those feelings and you did that workout. And that's a huge accomplishment. So
tell me which came first, the DDP Yoga workout or the nutrition?
Pretty much
change.
Well, I downloaded the app July 14, 2019, and I started doing the workouts. And then again, back to my nutrition, that's when I started tracking my food for the first month to see what I was eating. and it was an honest to God tracking. I didn't bullshit my tracking. You know what I'm saying? With MyFitnessPal, it's a free app. If I had a calzone for dinner, I had a calzone for dinner. If I had a can of Coke, if I wanted McDonald's, I didn't like question that. I just did it. I did my normal thing. Because I really wanted to see what I was eating and see how many calories I was eating a day. In Vance, I was eating close to 3,500 to 3,800 calories a day. So for me, it was like, damn, okay. And that's why I just slowly started to pick certain meals and started to change those things. And actually, it took me about 6 to 8 months. I can't remember the exact time frame, to where I was eating close to 17 to 1,800 calories a day. And I was not depriving myself of food. I was eating real food. I mean, I can tell you right now, Vance, at 7 o'clock, I'd have a cup of coffee with a little bit of cream and sugar. I have my water, protein bar. 9 o'clock, I have grapes and a water. 12 o'clock, I have a chicken wrap, blueberries and raspberries, a piece of cheese, and then at 2 with a body armor. I drink light body armor. That's my go-to because I love Gatorade sports drinks. I found light body armor as an alternative. Then 2 o'clock, I have an apple and a water. 4 o'clock, I have a protein bar, do my workout. 5:30, I have dinner, protein vegetable, but baked potato. 6:30, I have a protein bar for dessert. And at 7 o'clock, if I'm still hungry, I have a handful of pretzels. And then at 8 o'clock, if I'm still hungry or still want something, I have a sugar-free pudding. That's pretty much what I eat. I'm not depriving myself of food, but I found alternatives. Sugar-free pudding is my savior, especially at night. I mean, it has artificial sweetener, but that's my savior. Because my nighttime, that was the worst time for me. Vance, before I'd send my wife to Sonic and have her get me a chili cheese fry and a mozzarella stick and a large cherry limeade. That was my comfort food. So nighttime was killer for me, and it's hard for a lot of people. But I found alternatives. Pickles were my big one too. When I want some chips, I had a jar of pickles. I grab a few pickles out of there, and that helped me too. Get off those cravings.
Well, that's a good idea with the sodium. You know, that would get your sodium itch. Eating the pickles.
And it's low calorie.
But so, I mean, it sounds like the Matt Willner diet is along the lines of smaller portions, frequent meals. Is that a true statement? Yes, I would definitely say
yes. And I would say my lunches don't exceed 400, and my dinners probably don't exceed 500 calories. And we're talking like snacks are like up to 200 to 250. Those little, and then an apple's like probably 100 calories. But the thing with like apples and grapes, one thing I learned is it's sugar, but there's fiber attached. So your body's going to consume it better. And one thing I learned, refined sugar is the killer for me. Getting off that refined sugar and complex carbohydrates like breads and stuff like that. That's where DDPY nutrition, going gluten-free, actually helped me with my skin, everything. Because I have real bad psoriasis, and that helped my psoriasis, getting off the gluten. Because I probably had a gluten allergy without realizing it. So, back to the nutritional thing with like refined sugar. Like if you had a ho-ho or a cupcake, your body, you eat that sugar, you eat that food, that artificial food. So I learned your body doesn't know what to do with that food. It takes what it can, and the rest turns into body fat. That made sense to me. Anything fake or artificial turns to fat. And that's what, but once you start eating real food, you could still eat sugar as long as it was real sugar. And there was fiber attached. That's where it comes in the fruits and stuff like that. So that's what I learned. That's one thing I learned to do. And really, there was a time where I'd stop eating from 8 o'clock at night to 7 in the morning. So I was actually intermittent fasting a little bit there. Borderline. If you think about that. And constantly eating through the day. So that was just never used to eat past 8 o'clock because I was full. I was fine. Those little snacks, healthy snacks, helped me not stay full, but you just want to grab that food. You just want to grab it. But having stuff in there to grab, I graze. You know what I'm saying? Like, you go in the pantry, what do I eat? Or you go in the refrigerator, what do I eat? But now I have fruits. I have blueberries in my refrigerator, and I have strawberries in there. If I went to my fridge right now and I'm looking for something to eat, I grab a handful of blueberries and eat those. Grab some strawberries, and then, okay, maybe I'll just drink a water now. I'm not really that hungry right now. That's one thing I learned to do. Find those alternatives. And I'm a meal prep, snack prep master. I mastered it at my house. Every Sunday, me and Amy go to Costco. Meal prep, snack prep for the whole week. Everything's ready to go. And back to my wife, Amy. She actually had gastric sleeve surgery.
Well, that's the first time you... well, that's the first time you said her name, so... I think, anyway, at least the first time I remember you saying it, Amy. I wasn't sure, make sure it wasn't a girlfriend who you were talking about.
Well, she actually had gastric sleeve surgery in August of 2019 because she struggled with her weight for years, and she yo-yo dieted for years.
Okay, wait a minute. Okay, hold on. Let me stop you right there. And when she decided to have that, had you lost weight?
I was already in my journey, yes.
Well, see there, you inspired somebody.
Well, that's one thing I want to talk about too. Like, having her, I learned some stuff from her with her nutrition. Because with your gastric sleeve, one thing I want to emphasize is that was a lot harder than what I did. Because you do that surgery, you can't. Your stomach will not allow you to eat. And one thing I learned from her nutritionist is everything has to count. All your food has to count. You can't have empty calories in your nutrition. And that helped me. That was another thing. Oh, I like what she said. I like that. That makes sense. Because she had to make sure her protein was high. You know, no, she couldn't have empty calories. And that's one thing I learned through her. And she had tremendous success too. She lost 160 pounds. So she lost 160.
Damn.
I lost 150. We went from a California king bed to a queen bed. So basically we're back to where we were when we got married. Back to our wedding size. Actually, I'm thinner than I was when I got married, so I can't say that.
Oh man, well, is she skinnier than she was when she got married?
Probably about like 20 pounds. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Congratulations. Tell Amy congratulations too.
I just can't get her to get on the DDPY bandwagon, but whenever I do workouts, my level 1 certification workouts, she's always there. She's my number 1 student. Number 1 supporter right there. So
all right.
I just can't get her. I'm like, you got to do Energy 2.0 today. She's like, well, I'm like, okay, that's all I can say. I can't tell her, I can't get on her too much.
No, well, I'm impressed. She lost 160. That's
and she's
awesome.
maintaining too. She's just like me. And that's one thing too with that. I hate to say this, but people think that a weight loss surgery is a quick fix or like a Band-Aid, and it's not. The discipline, I mean, it took so much willpower for her to do that, and she struggled so much.
Well, I mean, you're still the same person. You're still going to have those hungers, and now you can't itch them. You can't. You'll
be sick.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna make yourself sick trying to scratch those hungers, and so it's I mean, I don't. I mean, if you can get the weight off, it doesn't matter how you do it.
Exactly.
It doesn't
what method
matter
you use
how
works for
you
you.
do it. So
do it, and I don't knock any of that. More power to you. And the one thing back to that, like if we had a pill to make someone want to change, I mean, having her try to do this surgery, she was ready. She wanted to do a change, and that was her tool. That's the tool she used. The tool I used was DDPY essentially, and she used her tool. And everyone has to find their own tools. And back to DDPY, I love doing DDPY. I love doing the workouts. If you love walking around the block after work every day, great. If you love riding a bicycle, if you love doing any kind of active exercise like going to the gym, that's what you need to do. This isn't about DDPY. It's about finding something you like to do that you could see yourself doing over a long period of time. That's what this is about, Find something you love. But staying active is definitely something we all need to do. Find just anything you could find that you love to do. I mean, that's what it's about. I hate going to the gym. And DDPY helped me because I wouldn't be caught dead going to the gym weighing 350 pounds. I was embarrassed, shamed. I didn't want to have people looking at me. So that's why in the comfort of my own home, I was able to do DDPY workouts. That's why I like DDPY. Another reason why.
I'm just curious, how did you find DDPY?
Well, Arthur Borman's video. That was my way of finding DDPY. And again, I'm going to tell you right now, Vance, I thought it was a cash grab. I thought it was bullshit. I told myself that. I mean, they just want my money. Because I looked up the time they didn't have the app yet. This was back in 2013. They had the DVDs, and it was like $100 for the DVDs. And I'm like, I'm not paying $100 for this and have it sit in my house, in my cabinet, collecting dust. I'm not doing that. And I kept seeing his video. It kept popping up, and every time I saw it, I'm like, it would tear me up. I'm like, damn, especially him running at the end. I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
And then the savior is when I decided to do it, I reached out to the Facebook page, DDPY Yoga Facebook page, and told them I wanted to start, and that's when they said, okay, here's a free month on the app. I'm like, oh, really? They have an app? Okay. So that night, I downloaded the app. And I took the pictures, did the body measurements, did all that. But having that app really helped me too, because I don't think if they had the app, I wouldn't be sitting here right now with this. Like that app really, it's a great app. The tools on there, the videos. He has.
Well, tell people about the app. So somebody listens to this that's not a DDP Yoga, person. How would you explain what DDP Yoga is and how it changed your life? But mainly start with how it, what it is and what all tools it offers and what you benefit from, and then we'll get into how it changed your life.
The big thing is the pictures. My first 6 pictures were dreadful. I was really unhappy taking those pictures. The body measurements, I fought through every second of that. And then the workouts, again, I chose beginner, and then I saw they had options. That was a big thing for me. They had an option for me because of my foot, because I wasn't comfortable doing a regular workout. And so that's where I chose chair force. And I did those I think I did chair force about 6 weeks. And then I decided to do Energy 2.0. And the thing is, I watched it first. I didn't just start to do it. I watched it, and I'm like, okay, I think I could do that. I think I could do this. And then I watched the whole workout. Then I decided to do it on my own, and I modified. And modified the push-ups. I modified everything. Vance, I couldn't do down dog. I was so concerned with my foot, and because it's held together with screws. I mean, probably nothing was going to happen, but I didn't want to put 350 pounds on my foot. I was afraid something was going to break. So I had to build up that confidence, but it was okay, because Dallas talks about in the workout, modify this, modify that. I didn't feel intimidated. I felt comfortable, I guess you could say, comfortable in what I could do. It took me 1.5 years to do a push-up, Vance. I did push-ups on my knees. It took me 1.5 years to build up enough confidence to do a push-up, because I was just so deathly afraid of my foot. I don't want to be doing a push-up and have my foot snap. Then what the hell? But that's in the app also. The body measurements, and the pictures, and the nutritional phases, and the videos he has on there are awesome. And the one thing too, when you first do the 13-week program, you watch a video every week, and it's a 5-minute video, and Vance just talks about different things you should do. And that 5 minutes, I'd watch it on Sunday, and I'd be ready to go on Monday. That really helped prepare me in an odd way. I mean, things that on that app that I didn't think would affected me in a positive way. The pictures, I still take my pictures. I posted the other day, 2 years, 9 months. If I look at the app, I can look at every month since I started, all the progress pictures. And that's another thing. I look at the app, I look at those pictures. Again, I don't look at the number on the scale. I look at the pictures. And that really helps keep me going along, seeing what I did. because I went through last year I went through body dysmorphia really bad, where I looked at myself in the mirror and I'd seen my stomach and I'd grab my stomach and it's like, I'd get down on myself. And there's times where I look at the mirror and I look away because I didn't want to, I don't know, I didn't like what I was seeing in the mirror for some reason. I thought, I was seeing the other guy, the overweight Matt. I kept seeing that. And it really would get me down. And I would just put myself down for having that loose skin or having that belly hanging there. And I'd tell my wife, and she's like, "You don't have a belly." I'm like, "Yeah, I have a belly. Like, you're just saying that because you're my wife." But but I had to fight through that, you know?
Yeah. And
it's tough.
Well, I want to make a comment here, 'cause just so you know, this is from me to you. And I mean, I've said it on some other podcasts, but when I was at my lowest, 218, 220, somewhere 225, there's pictures, and I would look at them and I still saw a fat man. I didn't think I looked good. Now that I've put 90 pounds back on or so, I weighed 313 last time I weighed. I probably a little more now, but I'd kill to be back down to 218, 220.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's weird that your body plays those tricks on you. And I see those pictures now, and I think, man, I wish I looked that good again. And so it's, you've got to understand I don't know. There's got to be some evolutionary advantage or benefit that's been passed down that makes us
there's something
do
in
that.
our brains that I don't know why we do that to ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, it's crazy. We work so hard to get to that point, but we're still not happy with the way we look.
I mean, I don't want to be negative, but I have people telling me I'm too skinny, making comments, and it's like, that really pissed me off. And I was telling Amy, I'm like, I'm either too fat or I'm too fucking skinny. I wish the world would fucking decide what they want me to look like. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't understand it. Like, and that's where I struggle with that. It's like, I'm like, I'm too skinny. Or you don't want to get too skinny. Like, what the hell does that even mean? I don't know. It's the things people say,
Well, no. These. Yeah, I mean, I think that kind of leads into something I ask everybody, but we've been putting our journey out there so public, and part of making it so public is that people make comments on your social media, and and whether they're well intentioned or not, some of them are have an effect on you. There's nothing you can do or say to keep from having it affect you, and but all I know is, as I tell everybody, that if you put on a scale everything good I got from making my journey public and everything bad I got from making my journey public, the scale would look like this. It would the benefit greatly outweighs any negative that I've had to endure over.
But we always focus on the negative for some reason. I don't know why. We always look at that negative.
Yeah.
We block out certain times of the day. You just block out. You get You get to that spot, like even being like heavy and feeling the way I used to feel. I get to that spot in my head sometimes, like I just want to be down on myself, and because you feel, I don't know, it's like comforting to be down on yourself. If that makes any sense, if you know what I'm saying, like you're used to being there, so sometimes it's easier just to go there, okay, and you feel protected.
Yeah,
and you shouldn't do that, but we all do it. I mean, I'm not ashamed that I do that, but I don't think I do it as much as I used to, which is a good thing. And that's again, we got it. That's a positive thing. out of a negative. We got to learn how to. We got to do that. I'm 41 years young and I still struggle with that. And I don't think it's ever going to go away. But how I deal with it is going to help. And the thing is, it's going to help. I'm going to help my children and my loved ones go when they're going through this stuff. I've been through it, so I know how to.
Yeah, you're showing
Yes.
them you can be done.
Yes, definitely.
Well, how has social media affected your journey? That's another question
It
I
has
ask everybody.
positives and its negatives. Back to the comparison. I've seen some people get 1,000 likes on their posts, 2,000 likes, and I barely get 100. Does that affect me in a negative way? Yes. Has it affected me in a negative way? Yes. I'm not going to deny it. And I've struggled with that. But again, I'm coming out of that. I'm coming out of that mind funk, and that's where comparing yourself is so detrimental to you. I just don't want to, I don't do that to myself anymore. I refuse to do that to myself. And it's torture because it doesn't mean your journey is less relevant. It doesn't mean that. And I had to learn, I had to teach myself that. I mean, Vance, I'm going to tell you right now, to these challenges they have, the Positive Feel Unstoppable Challenge 2020 and 2021, that really hit me hard. After not being picked this last year, I went into a deep depression for a few weeks. I didn't know how to handle it. And I wasn't handling it in a good way. But luckily it was a few weeks and not a few months. And that's where the social media came on, and I would see I would see things posted and see those people have their belts on their shoulder, and it's like, why can't I have that belt on my shoulder? And it just hit me. It was just bad. I don't want to be negative, but I was really at a negative spot, in a real bad spot. But I am no longer there. I came out of it, and it was hard to do.
No, I mean, I think that's that's the one of the downsides of the competition.
I even hate calling it a competition. I hate that it's called that, and that's what I thought of it in my mind too. That word, and it's really not a competition. And those stories, they chose those people because they're going to help other people. Their stories are going to resonate with people and help them. And that's one thing I had to remind myself. And they choose ordinary people. They don't pick models to represent their company. They choose regular, ordinary people to represent them. And that's what those people are. And they're a prime example of what's possible. And I needed to remind myself that. But it was tough. Because I felt like I should have been standing next to them.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of I don't know about I don't think angst would be the right word, but there's a lot of contemplation and I mean, a lot of work, I guess, would be the best word. I mean, that of all the, I mean, they get so many wonderful stories, and they've got to pick a few out of all of these success things, and not, and then not, I've talked to Steve Yu. We've had some conversations about it, and it's tough on him in Dallas that they have to choose someone, and see, like last year they both came out, well, I mean, the whole thing, they come out of pocket. It's a huge cost to them to do it, time, money, and last year they were only going to have, I don't know, 3 winners. And ended up having 6, so they had to come out of pocket there at the end because they couldn't. There were so many great stories they couldn't decide, and and it's the same every year. They've expanded the winners. I think the first that's done it 3 years, and every year they said about we're going to have this many winners, and then
Yep.
they had to add one, and then this many winners, and they've added two, and this many winners now they added three. So it's a tough decision for them. All I can promise you is that I guarantee you. Have you ever met Steve or
Never.
Dallas in person? Okay. All I can promise you is that their intent is going to be good. I mean, their intent is to help and inspire the most people, and I mean that's where they're working from in their heart.
Heart of hearts.
You know, and yeah, and if you, I mean, you ask those, like Steve Hughes, the president of the company, and hell, he's the one driving the bus around, taking the winners everywhere when they go do their deal. You know, he's the one picking them up from the airport, taking them from every party. I mean, everywhere. There's not people that do this. He does it, and making sure that that trying to make sure everybody has a good time.
I mean, like back to that, like I did to myself. I go back to that comfort feeling when I saw I wasn't picked or I saw them. I found I huddled up into a ball, and I felt like I wasn't good enough. That was the first thought that went through my mind, and that was the worst thing I could have done for myself. Anyone watching this that wasn't picked, or anyone part of the challenge this year and isn't picked, remember that. Don't go down in that ball. You did good. Keep going. And that's one thing I didn't tell myself.
Yeah, absolutely.
I took a few days to finally pull my head out of my ass, but I did. And you talk about those things. I know, I can't imagine how hard it was for them to pick these people. But that first thought that goes through your head is a negative one for me, unfortunately. And I couldn't fight it off, but I had to fight through it. But I know in the heart of hearts they're good people. In the heart of hearts, I'm so proud of everyone who was on that stage. I've seen their transformations, and that's where I feel blessed, because I've seen last year and this year. I've walked with those people and walked with them and seen their transformations, and that's a huge blessing. And it gets back to where I want to help someone lose weight or help them. I'm standing with people that did that, walking with them. And that's amazing, and I think that had an impact on me too. It had an impact on my success. Walking with them, feeling like they're ordinary people like me, and they did it. And seeing them, we fed off each other. I believe that's one little aspect. I think, looking back.
Well, I can tell you that I think even the first year, it almost didn't go have a second year because of the, how much how it made Steve and Dallas feel having to choose somebody over somebody else. I mean, I think it almost died because of that, and then finally they had to make the decision that I'm putting words in their mouth. I assume this is what they said, but they made the decision that more good is going to come out of it than bad, and we're going to do it. I mean, because it's nothing there's nothing but a damn. I mean, they're just throwing money at it, and it's not a money maker. That everything in it's free. That everything, the contest is free. All the cash they give away. I mean, the people they bring to Atlanta to go to the PC, all of that's on their dime. I mean, it's the contestants don't pay anything. And the only thing that they, I guess, pay is that they let them tell their story. And it's crazy, but I mean, I've had a few conversations with them when they're with Steve in particular, not so much Dallas, but how mentally taxing it is on them when it comes down to the time that they've got to choose. So it's not. I'm sorry that it had that effect on you, and I'm sure it has. I know of one other person I've talked to that I've interviewed that it's had the same effect. So I know too that it's had that same effect, and um, and I'm sure there are a lot of others out there that it had that same effect. And I'm sorry for that, but I can promise you that it affects them
I don't
too.
apologize. I had to go through that though. Looking back, I had to go through that shit.
Yeah.
It didn't deter me. It didn't stop me. It made me a better person. I mean, I don't like talking about but it had. I had those thoughts. I can't deny it, but I no longer have those thoughts, and I'm proud of that. I'm proud of myself. I'm proud that I'm going to keep going along. And back to that, I love this program. I love the workout. I love everything about it, and that I'm not going to let that deter me. And I never did this for a contest. I never did this for any of those reasons. And that's one thing I had to get back to the roots of why I decided to do this. So, and that helped me put it into perspective. I needed a readjustment, you know.
Hey, let me use the restroom. I'm an old man. I got an old man bladder.
I'll use the restroom too.
I'll be right back. I got chips all over me. It's not good to do a transformation podcast with chips all over your shirt. I think
You better not.
Hold
Come on, man. What are you doing to me?
All right. I want to get back to one thing about that last conversation because, like you said, you're a better person for having gone through that. And I can tell you that one thing I've learned through this journey is that, I used to think like you did with your foot, what am I ever going to do to lose weight? I got bad knees, bone on bone. I need knee replacements, weigh 475 pounds. What am I going to do? But through this journey, I know that my body's not the issue. I know if there's anything out there I want to do, I know physically I can do it. I know mentally I can do it. I know I can do it. I mean, it's a whole different mindset than before this whole journey started because now you know, I mean, shit, I've done triathlons and all kinds of shit, and I mean,
I've done 2 marathons. I've walked 2 marathons.
Yeah, it's crazy.
2 5Ks.
And on your foot, and you thought it was, I mean, it's crazy what you
never in a million years would I do that.
Well, yeah,
never.
And so, I'm to the point now that I know mentally and physically I can do it, and so it's just a question of making the decision to do it. And so that's been one revelation or one aspect of this journey that I never had for the most of my life. So I wanted to see what you thought about that.
I mean, like we talked about before, like I could sit here and tell you, Vance, everything you need to do to lose the weight, everything, but you got to want to do it yourself and finding a way. And I was the type of person that, I don't know, doing it on my own, I put more stock into it. How can I describe it? Like it's not like Vance told me I need to do this, and Vance wasn't partially responsible for this. I'm responsible for this because I didn't take one piece of advice and just use that one piece of advice. I used 20 people's advice, 20 different things, and made my own version of what worked for me. And that's where, with that, that's, I guess I'm not sure where I'm going with that, but you got to find your way to do it. You got to find what you have to change in your life. And not only, but the thing is, it's not like I don't look back and say, I figured out how to lose weight. I mean, it's not like there was this one thing that helped me lose the weight. there was 50 things that helped me lose the weight. And I'm still learning. It's not like I figured it all out and I'm set for life now. I'm still learning what works. And again, my mental transformation is happening now. My physical transformation is it was done in July 2021. Now my mental transformation, I'm catching up to that. I'm catching up. And I'm still learning. I'm still going to learn. I'm never going to have all the answers. I'm never going to figure it out. But I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to keep doing my workouts. I'm going to keep living this lifestyle. Because I enjoy this lifestyle more than the old lifestyle. It'll take more effort for me to go back to the way I was than it would be for me just to keep going as I'm going. Example, wake up in the morning tomorrow, I'm going to have an omelet with bacon and eggs and cheese. Amy's not going to McDonald's and getting me a sausage biscuit with egg, hash brown, and a large coffee. I'm not doing that. I'm happy eating an omelet. You get what I'm saying? It would take effort for me to do that rather than wake up half asleep and start cracking the eggs and doing what I've been doing. Same thing with my lunches and meal prepping. It would take more effort for me not to do it. I couldn't sit on the couch on a Sunday and not have everything ready to go meal prep for the week. I couldn't physically do it anymore. It would take effort for me not to do that. But it took me a long time to get there. And back to the learning, I'm still learning. I'm still changing my foods. I'm still experimenting with different recipes. I'm still enjoying my food. Like, I love pizza. There's no way in hell I could never eat pizza again. I've eaten pizza this whole time. On Saturdays, that's my pizza day. From Chicago, of course I love pizza. I gotta have my pizza. But I found a healthier version. And when I buy frozen pizzas, you know what I did, Vance? I would cut it in half when it was frozen. I'd cut it in half and only cook the one half. Leave the other half in the freezer.
Well, that's smart.
Ever think of doing that? It's crazy. And then there's no leftovers. And if you ate half that pizza, you're probably looking like 700 calories. But compared to Pizza Hut or somewhere else, you're saving calories there.
I mean, leaving leftovers is a big problem I have. I mean,
Yes.
I know it when I'm doing it, but I still have to clean my plate. And if Mary's got anything left on hers, I clean hers too, you know.
We're taught that, though. I have 3 brothers and a sister growing up in a one-income household. You finish that dinner plate.
Yeah.
Food is a luxury my parents could afford, and that's, you know what I'm saying. That was them rewarding us. And back to my family, I still go to my parents, and they still have that same type of food, and it's hard for me because I can't eat that way and be at a healthy weight, where my brothers and sisters can still eat that way to an extent and have a healthy weight. But I figured out I couldn't do that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I never wanted to make them feel uncomfortable with the way I was eating. Like, I would make them feel bad because they ate that way. And that's one thing I struggle with too. Because I want to be an advocate and shoving this shit down people's throats. I want to do that to people. Yeah. And you know what I'm saying? That's how you sound. That's how you are, Mr. DDPY. Or they don't want to fucking hear that shit all the time because they're not ready. But all I can say now, I learned to be, I'm waiting in the wings. I'm waiting in the background. I'm a phone call away if anyone wants any help or any input.
When they're ready, they'll know where to go.
Definitely. And I want them to be able to come to me and not me be a freaking... Because when someone asks me what I did to lose weight, I freaking go off on a huge tangent. And I'm talking to them for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And I thinking back, I'm like, I gave them too much information on a short period of time.
No, I mean, everybody. Yeah, everybody wants a pill or a diet or a exercise.
Yes.
You know, it's not they don't want to hear the journey. They want to hear, you know, the apricot diet or something. You know,
something not too difficult. Well, it's going to be difficult.
Absolutely. And it's going to be difficult the rest of your life. I mean, we're still the same people.
Yes, it is. Because Vance, I can go to McDonald's right now and go through the drive-thru. I can go get something to eat right now. I still have that choice. There's nothing deterring me from doing that. You know, there's no one gonna slap me on the wrist.
No.
And it's like people I talk to, like when I become an instructor or I'm teaching someone in a class and they ask me, I don't want to be the guy slapping the food out of your hand. I'm not the guy you call and say, I want to eat this Twinkie or I want to do this. Eat it. You do whatever you want. But just remember, you decided to do that. It had nothing to do with me.
Yeah,
you
there's consequences.
That decision.
Well, you know
there's
the
consequences.
Yeah, the Overeaters Anonymous is that kind of real hard. You know, you turn over your food choices to your sponsor, and I never could do that. And then you know, but I tell you, if you're on Dallas's radar and sending you his food, he comes with the tough love variety. You know, he's a slap the food out of your hand kind of guy. Get that shit out of your mouth.
See, I don't have that kind of prevalence yet. Maybe one day I have that what he has.
Yeah.
I mean, he's down with Dallas Page. I mean, you're gonna fucking listen to what he says. Shit, man.
Well,
kick your ass.
I said it on here one time, and I've been thinking about it. I really believe it. That's his superpower. You know, you can't tell that man no.
Yeah.
You just can't. You can't do it.
Yeah. That's funny.
That's his superpower.
He's that way.
Yeah, I mean, but now I want to go back to your food prep because you said you and Amy are pros at food prep. What?
Almost
describe,
like you and Mary, almost, man.
Yeah. Tell the listener who the one person that listens to this, tell them exactly what you get at Costco. Mary and I love to go to Costco. Tell them what you get at Costco and what you do for the food prep for the week. Tell them kind of the steps you go through and how you do it.
Well, first of all, our kitchen island, I clear that off. I throw down a beach towel or like just to cover the counter for easy cleanup. That's one thing we do. Throw that down, we leave, go to Costco. I grab raspberries, a bundle of raspberries, 2 bundles of blueberries, strawberries if they look good, grapes, they pretty much look good most of the time, different seasons as such. And I grab a bag of apples, and then I go for my go-to proteins. They have these Amali chicken patties. They're caramelized onion, and I can't remember the other flavor with those. And I grab 2 rotisserie chickens every week just to have on hand to make chicken salad, chicken wraps with. What else do we get? Amy loves their almond crackers. The girls love the veggie straws. And my protein bars are all from Costco.
What protein
Hang on
bars?
a second. Hang on, I'll grab them. Hang on. This is my new favorite protein bar right here.
I hadn't had that one. What is it?
It tastes like a Snickers bar.
I can't. What company is it? I can't read the company name.
Fit Crunch. Robert Irvine.
Robert Irvine. I don't know. I never heard of that one. They got it at Costco?
Costco has these.
Huh. I'll look
Amazing.
For them. Yeah.
And again, I look for the sugar content. 3 grams of sugar. That's pretty reasonable. And you don't want to get too high on the sugar content. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And have you had these? These are the Kirkland brand.
Chocolate. No,
Brownie.
I hadn't. No.
Cookies and cream. Look at this one.
What is that one? Purple chocolate chip cookie dough. Ooh, that'd be hard for me. That one.
I'm
right
making
there.
you hot.
Yeah.
But again, this has 2 grams of sugar. This one, chocolate chip peanut butter chunk, Reese's peanut butter cup.
That would be
That's
mine.
a Reese's
right
peanut butter cup.
That's peanut butter's my weakness.
These are awesome. You got to get these, Vance, next time you guys go. This is the trick. This is parchment paper. Take your chocolate brownie out of the wrapper, put it in the microwave for 10 seconds. You're welcome. Tastes like a warm brownie out of the oven.
All right, and so it's just called Kirkland's brand?
Kirkland, yes. I made a meal prep video on my YouTube channel. I can send that to you guys. It's the haul.
The whole deal.
But yeah,
so
who doesn't like a warm chocolate brownie? Here you go. It's right here.
Oh,
These are my go-to after dinner. I got to have an after dinner snack. Like, you got that sweet tooth after dinner, and that's a protein bar and a water. Always drink a water with a protein bar, though. Always. I always been doing that. It's my habit.
Costco's dangerous. There's lots of stuff in there. There was something I picked up at Dallas's, and luckily they hadn't had it in a while, but it was like a trail mix and had these dark chocolate chips. Man, I was eating it at his house, and every time I'd go by, I'd get a handful. And I seen him staring at me every time I'd go by that thing, getting a handful. And man, that shit was good. I can't remember. It's Kirkland's brand.
Well, the one thing you got to watch, like the package, reading the packaging, it'll say gluten-free, non-GMO. One thing to mention: the owner of Costco, I think their children, one of the kids has celiac disease. So that's why he sells a lot of options that are gluten-free. Because I think celiac, that means they have that gluten allergy. Does that sound right to you? I'm not sure.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
But that's why he has these options in his stores. He has non-GMO because of his children. He wants other families to have similar issues. But you got to watch, back to the label reading, it'll say all that good stuff on the back. You flip that over, you got to look at that added sugar. Because I ran into the same thing. I had these clusters. I think it had chocolate. It was like a trail mix kind of thing. It might have been the same thing you had. We got it home, and I go like this. And next thing I know, I'm going back to the pantry. Another handful. I'm like, okay, what's going on? I look at the added sugar. That's it. Added sugar, man. And when it gets in it affects your brain. I don't know what it does, man. You want more and more and more and more when you have that added sugar or that refined sugar. It's a killer, man. And you think you're eating something good, but that added sugar, man, it gets you every time.
Well, the crack out there, the real crack is those damn peanut butter pretzel balls.
Yeah, those.
Have you had those? Man.
No, I am not eating those. You're not doing that to me.
Man.
I've seen those.
It's
hard to walk by. It's one of those things it's hard to walk by. You got to put on blinders when you're walking by.
The big old tub, but I'll eat the whole damn thing. Those things are rough on me. All right. Let's get out of food. Let's get out of food for a while.
Making you hungry?
Well,
I got these. Yeah. I got these protein bars in front of me, so I'm good, man.
I got to go eat. But yesterday was my middle girl's 25th birthday, so we're going to eat sushi in Dallas at 5:30. So I got to get off in time for that. So I got to save my appetite for sushi tonight. But all right, man. Another question that I ask everybody is, what advice do you have to someone who is starting out?
Well, we pretty much touched on all of that through this whole conversation. I mean, don't compare yourself to other people. Give yourself time to change your lifestyle and look at this as a lifestyle. It's not a diet, it's nutrition. And those non-scale victories, that my belt, my uniforms at work, my clothes fitting better, feeling better, that's what you need to focus on. That scale is not always going to be moving in the right direction for you, and you can't let that bring you down. You can't let that stop your progress. It's okay to be upset, but just try to move past that. And that's when you look at that progress picture on the DDPY Now app. You look at that picture. You look at last month and this month. Take your picture again just to see. And that'll keep you going. Again, these non-scale victories have kept me going this whole time. I mean, I want to talk about one non-scale victory that we didn't emphasize on too much, but getting off the pain medicine was a huge non-scale victory, and that's something that I never thought I'd be able to do. I was so dependent on it, and anyone on pain meds knows this feeling. It's a Friday, you go to the pharmacy and you have one pain pill left at home, and they're out of your prescription. What do? You're panicking, and that feeling, and I have to go a few days without this pill. What the hell am I going to do? It's just an eye-opening experience, and to no longer have that in my life is huge to me. And for me, my pain management doctor did me a disservice. He actually helped me get off pain medicine by being the way he was. He kept telling me to lose weight for years and years. You need to lose weight. You got to lose the weight. It'll help. Vance, I lost the weight. I was losing it. And you know what he said about the pain medicine? Nothing. I kept going to him. He kept writing that script. He kept giving me the pain meds. He saw the weight I was losing, and he commented on it at first, like, you're doing great. But in the back of his mind, he probably thought I would never keep going. But he didn't want to lose a customer. He didn't want to lose a patient. I hate to talk about doctors like this, but he wanted that copay. He really didn't give a shit about me. So the last time I saw him in his office, it was a normal thing. I go in. He wouldn't even talk about my pain levels at a point. I'd just go there just to get the script and leave. We would talk about normal things, outside of my medical condition. But anyway, I was driving home. I was turning to get on the freeway. Vance, I looked myself in the rearview mirror, and I said, I'm done. I said, I'm not filling this prescription today. I refuse to do this. This guy doesn't care about me. I can do this. And again, that was in September of 2020. Basically, I started July of 2019. So I was still taking pain meds when I was starting my journey. Over a year and 3 months into my journey is when I decided to get off the pain medicine. But DDPY gave me the confidence that I could do it. And I'm going to tell you right now, the first day off pain medicine, the first night, was a living hell. I probably slept an hour that night, maybe 2. My legs were shaking. I felt like I was crawling out of my own skin. That's the best way to describe it. And I'm not going to tell people to quit cold turkey, but for me, I felt that was my only way with the pain medicine. But every day got a little bit easier, and I was able to get that monkey off my back. And that's the one thing that I never thought I would be able to do. And that's because of DDPY, because of the confidence it gave me. Sure, I lost the weight. Sure, I did, it was a smaller uniform size. Sure, the belt shrunk. But the confidence I had in myself and the belief in myself. And this might sound, the thing that Dallas says, if you say you can or you say you can't, you're right. In Vance, that first night, I was laying there and I was like so tempted, because I had other pain pills in my pantry, and I kept telling myself I can. And that was the one thing, again, that's the one thing I never thought. And that was never on my radar from last month, from the previous month. I was so tempted. And I said, Matt, if you say you can, you say you can't, you're right. And that just stuck in my brain. And I can. You're in 6 months, you're going to be off the pain meds. In 6 months, you're going to be there. When I first started, I never thought, I'll be down 50 pounds. You know what I'm saying? I never set those goals. And back to that, what would I tell people? Set realistic goals. The SmackDown goals, I think I have on my fridge over here. That SmackDown goal, set realistic goals. And celebrate the shit out of that goal when you reach it. Post on Facebook, post on Instagram, celebrate. Be proud of that. That's one thing people they don't put themselves out, don't celebrate themselves enough. And don't realize what they're doing, how much it's impacting them. And they need to be proud of that. And back to the decision making to decide to lose the weight, be proud that you downloaded the app and decided to do something. Because a lot of people talk about it and they never put anything into action. You know? And I was guilty of that for years. But you're putting it in action. Pat yourself on the back for that. That's your first victory that you got. You know? And just celebrate everything. Every little thing. Every little step. Because sooner or later you're going to look back and be like, holy shit, look at that. Look what I did. You know? That's how I see it. That's how I see my journey, you know.
You know, I think that I think that mental toughness or mental attitude that you can do anything that this program is installed in us is exactly what I was talking about when I said, you know, physically, mentally, I know I can do it, and you deciding to go cold turkey. How many years were you on the narcotics?
Since my foot surgery, so February 2013 to September of 2020.
7 years. So you ate? Did you eat them daily?
Yeah, 3 to 4 a day.
And you quit cold turkey.
Cold turkey. I don't. Again, listen to your doctor, but I was done listening. I was done with my doctor. I never set foot in that doctor's office again.
Do you have an internist or a family doctor or someone like that you go to?
It was an internal I just have a regular doctor now I have a different insurance now. And that's another thing. I wish I would have had blood work done before I started.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. What does your doctor say now?
Well, now, the last blood work I had was last June, and it was perfect. Everything was great. The doctor said my hormone level, what did she say? I have a hormone level of like a 25-year-old. Like, that's how good my body, you know what I'm saying? That's how healthy I was. But again, I wish I had that starting point to see where I was. And I mean, blood pressure. When I was a manager, I used to go, my blood pressure was like 165 over 98 at one time. It was high. That's when I was close to 350 pounds. And now I love getting the blood pressure. Because it's always, what is it? I think it was 121 over 78 last time. Like, that's like perfect. You can't ask for anything better than that. And it's those little things, too, that you never thought you'd ever get to. And they creep up on you when you're doing the right thing, when you're tracking your food and when you're doing your exercising, and they creep up. Pay attention to those. Pay attention. You know, it comes out of nowhere, and that'll keep like put air in your sails and help you keep going along.
How's your relationship with your wife and kids now?
Wonderful. It's great. Again, we have conversations now. Like before, I'd watch TV all night. Now my daughter comes in the room and we turn the TV off and we just sit and have a conversation. And for that, these are pivotal years for them. They're teenage girls. These are the years that I really need to be an influence in their life. Especially when they start dating and stuff like that. They need to influence, you know what I'm saying? A positive male influence in their life. And now I'm giving them that, you know, and I'm proud to say that. That's what it's about.
So has the 17-year-old started bringing boys home yet?
Yeah. She brought a boy home.
How'd that go?
Good. He was a good kid. They dated for a little while. Nothing real serious, but yeah, it was good. Amy's the one that has the problems with that more than me, so not the problems, but her acceptance of that is harder. You know what I'm saying?
I can tell you, you know, I've been through 3 girls and a guy now. There was one from my middle girl, Emma, and we live on a corner of a busy street, and the street out in front of our house is not very busy, but over here is a busy street, schools and stuff. Well, he would pull up on this busy street over here and honk. He wouldn't even come in.
Oh, hell no.
And she would go out, get in the car, they'd go, and this went on 2 or 3, 4 times. Finally, I said, Emma, you're not leaving this house until he comes in here and it beats me.
That's right. Shakes my hand. You're not going anywhere with this boy.
Yeah, so she was mad at hell. But she went out there and brought him in. And this is the way this is what he did. He came up to me and he shook my hand like this.
No.
And he shook my hand like that and said, "What's up?" Did his head like that, and it went by.
Nope. Get the hell out of my house.
It's like a wait. Hey, what's up?
What's up? Unbelievable.
But yeah. So you'll get one of those sooner or later. Luckily, he didn't stick around too long.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to that. That won't go over well with me. You got to have a firm handshake, look me in the eye, and hello. Like, yeah, not what's up.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you it's funny because it got Don in trouble. My son, he was younger than him, so he was still home. And so when that so much left, I said, "Don, get in here." I said, "When you start dating," I'm yelling at him. Yeah. I said, "You go in there and shake your man's hand and look him in the eye." I'm yelling. It got Don in trouble.
All right. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, shit.
But it's
that's a lot of fun.
Those little things that they don't. I catch on that stuff. Like you said, you got to have that handshake. You got to have enough respect to come in and introduce yourself. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're going. You got one more coming through, so you're gonna have to do it all again.
But I'm ready now.
Well, they're all different, You're ready for what that first one brought, but you may not be ready for what that second one brings.
I mean, back to them being different. It's like I got two girls. They're total opposites of each other. It's amazing to me how different they are. Two different people,
Yeah.
Just crazy.
All three of mine came out completely different.
Yeah.
It's crazy how that works. I keep accusing them. I say, I'm gonna one of these days I'm gonna meet your dad and thank him for shit. But no, man, it's good, man. You're kicking ass. You're owning life. You're liking your job. Happily married. Got happy kids. Life is good for Matthew Willner.
As good as I want to be, as good as I make it to be in my mind. You know what I'm saying?
What does the future hold? What does the future hold?
Well, that's where that certification comes in play. Hopefully I'll be able to get that done. Hopefully I'll be able to get my assessment done in June. If not, then it'll be September. And once that comes into play, then maybe I'll reach out to a few gyms in my area and see if they're looking for a yoga instructor. Who knows? And I was thinking of using that. Any money I earn with that, I could go to my kids' college fund. Or who knows, just another way.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens, but that's when my goal is to get that certification. And that's level 1, and then maybe I'll do level 2 after that. I know there's big things changing. I don't know exactly what's changing, but they're trying to get everything up to speed, comparable to these other workout programs. Yeah. So hopefully I want to be part of that. I'd love to be able to teach on that new DDPY Live Now app one day. But we'll see what the future holds.
Yeah, they're growing. They're going through some growing pains, trying to figure out how to make it work and how to scale it up. It's been so effective for so many people, and
I just feel like it hasn't hit yet. DDPY has not hit.
Yeah,
it's so much. It's gonna explode one of these days, and I'm just glad I'm part of it. But I see it. Everyone should be doing this. There's no reason why everyone can't do this workout. Every fitness level, every walk of life, any age. And it's so good for you.
I say it in every podcast. I say it. I truly believe that this is the closest thing to the fountain of youth that we're going to see in our lifetime.
Yes. And once you find it and you use it and utilize it in your everyday life, you love to do it. You love the way it makes you feel. And no other workouts made me feel this way. Walking on a treadmill for 20 minutes never made me feel this way. Standing on a yoga mat for 20 minutes does. It's just crazy how that works. And like Dallas says, he wouldn't be caught dead doing yoga. I was the same way, to a point. I never thought I'd be doing this. Or I tell people I do yoga, you do yoga, what the hell? And they don't know what DDPY is, and that's where I have to explain how it's different. But either way.
Well, now then when you explain it to them, then they start telling you what really works, for them.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They won't go try it. Everyone has an opinion. But
it's mind-boggling how they just won't give it a try. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I was the same way. You couldn't have told me, before. I had to decide on my own. What on my.
I mean, if I had never heard of it. I started with just the principle of saying yes to everything and posting everything online. Those were my two principles I started with, because I figured if I say yes, then I'll sooner or later find something I can do.
Uh-huh.
And Dallas reached out to me, and I just said yes to try it. I wasn't ever a wrestling fan, and I'd never seen the Arthur Borman video. I didn't know anything about any of this, and I said yes, and I said I'll try it, and went with it. And it's been the only constant throughout this whole journey. Like you, I keep changing my diet, keep trying new things.
It's not a diet.
Nutrition, and I keep trying other exercises or things around DDP, but the base, the one thing that I've done for 4.5 years is DDP Yoga. I mean, that's always been our base. I mean, I'll wean and wane, and I think those properly used terms. I'll increase frequency and decrease frequency of it or length, but it's always there,
Mm-hmm.
So
definitely,
it's the one constant in this that has. At 4.5, I'm 4.5 years in, and I'm still 160. Well, last time I weighed, I was 162 pounds down. So it's crazy.
What are your goals in the next year? What do you want to? What do you want to do? Where do you see yourself?
I don't know. I haven't set myself any hard goals. Every time I set them and I don't make them, I get so depressed and get so damn down on myself. But I know I really like doing this podcast, and I want to be the official podcast of DDP Yoga. So I'm gonna interview so many DDP Yoga success stories that they have to make me the official podcast of DDP Yoga. So
right on.
So I'm hoping to force them to let me be a part of the program somehow.
I don't see why not.
This will be my contribution. Yeah, I'm gonna keep interviewing success stories. So.
Well, I gotta let you go. I just wanted to thank you again for bringing me on this, and I want to tell you personally, if you ever need any help with anything, just message me, and I'll help you in any way I can. Okay?
Well, thank you, man. Thank you. Hey, before you go, I know you got a lot of social media and stuff. So if anybody wants to follow you or reach out to you, where can they find you?
Basically, if you send me a friend's request, I'll accept it, and through Messenger, that's pretty much. And I'm on Instagram as well, just Matthew Willner. You'll see me on there. You see me on DDP Yoga Facebook pages too. Anytime you see me post something, I post regularly. Just drop a comment, send me a message. I've shown my nutrition. I have my nutrition saved on my phone under the notes. I'll send you my nutrition plan. I'll send you exactly what I eat every day. And you do with it what you will. Make it your own. Figure out your way. I'll tell you anything you need. Anything I can. And it's going to be an honest, open, truthful thing. It's not. I'm not hiding anything. I'm out there. And that's one thing too. I've been out there since I started my journey. If you go back to the members page, DDP Yoga Facebook page, and the two different pages, and you search my name, you'll see me from August or July of 2019 and August of 2019 up to now. So I ain't going anywhere. I'm always here to help anyone any way I can. So
all right, man. Well, good luck with the certification, and good luck with your journey. Keep kicking ass, brother, and thank you for doing this. It will be out not this coming Monday, which will be the 18th. It would be out the 25th. Is what I try to get them out every Monday.
Okay.
And so I'm pretty sure yours will be out the 25th. and I'll send you the links to it.
Perfect.
It'll be on the web page, but it'll be almost anywhere it's anywhere that quality podcasts are being played. Let's say it that way.
Okay.
And then it's also on the Transform with Vance podcast. So, but check out Matthew Willner. Find him. Find his Facebook page. Find his Instagram page. Give him a follow. You won't be upset. I mean, he posts regularly, but it's amazing. I have never seen anybody that is so disciplined in same position photo or video or same, that you can truly see that progress all the way through. It's really amazing, So great job, Matthew, and I appreciate you doing this.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate being on this show.
Thank you for listening to the podcast today. I'm your host, Vance Hines of Transform with Vance, where transformations begin every day. Please take a moment, if you will, if you like the podcast, to subscribe and follow, and you can find us on social media as well, either under Vance Hines or Transform with Vance. Please tune in and subscribe to our feed. You'll be able to hear lots of transformation stories. I'm in search of interviewing as many transformations as I can find. So if you have a transformation that you would like to have someone interview and have and appear on the podcast, just send me the name and number, message me, and I'll reach out to them and try to get them here. But no matter what, a better life begins on the mat. Get on the mat and start your transformation today. Thank you.